In prisons, anything can happen, and believe me, there's a lot we can't even imagine. Sometimes people forget that cameras are everywhere, capturing moments that are hard to believe. And we're not talking about simple stuff, no way. The cases go from misunderstandings to romances between guards and inmates, and that's exactly what you're going to see here today. So go ahead and leave your like, click below on the subscribe button, and let's do this. If you think you've seen it all, check this out. A jail in Pernambuco, in Brazil, turned into a party venue, complete with an MC show, booming sound, and a woman dancing all the way down for the inmates. That's right, the public jail of Goiânia, in the Zona de Mata Norte region in Brazil, was the setting of a very unconventional event, and, of course, a lot of people got in trouble. The case came to light after a video of the party started circulating on social media. In the footage, several inmates are seen holding cell phones, filming and enjoying the MC's performance, while a woman, wearing shorts and a black top, twerks among the crowd. The vibe was a full-blown club scene, except it was happening inside a prison. The MC who performed at the party has not been officially identified yet. Series said they are trying to figure out who the singer is, but in the video, you can catch a glimpse of his face as he performs for the inmates. On top of that, the case raises a worrying question. How did the inmates manage to organize such a big event without drawing attention? The Union of Prison Police Officers in Pernambuco harshly criticized the situation, arguing that this shows just how fragile security is in the state's prison units. Now, besides the removal of the public servant and the transfer of the inmates involved, the jail of Goiânia will undergo a thorough inspection to seize cell phones and other forbidden items. The SDS is also looking into possibly suspending other security agents who were on duty that day. The investigation will also see if there was any involvement of minors, since some information suggests that one of those present might not be of legal age. Meanwhile, the scandal continues to spark debate about prison security and how easily inmates can access cell phones and set up events like this. This case shows that, unfortunately, Brazil's prison system still faces many challenges. If inmates can even throw a party, bring in performers, and record everything on video, the question remains, who really controls what goes on inside these facilities? In August of 2023, Danilo Cavalcante, an inmate sentenced to life in prison in the United States for killing his ex-girlfriend, pulled off an impressive escape from Chester County Prison in Pennsylvania. Using a technique similar to that of a climber, he scaled the prison walls, got past barbed wire fences, and vanished without a trace. The getaway lasted 14 days, during which hundreds of police officers, drones, and search dogs were deployed to find him. Cavalcante had been convicted for the murder of Deborah Brandão, committed in front of her children, to prevent her from reporting him for a homicide in Brazil. After his escape, the authorities launched a large-scale operation supported by tactical teams and helicopters. The local population was advised to take precautions, like locking doors and checking security cameras, while the search expanded. Tension rose when Danilo stole a rifle from a home, raising the risk of armed conflict. After 2 days of intense searching, Cavalcante was finally found in a wooded area, exhausted and without food or water. A tactical team, with the help of search dogs, recaptured him, bringing relief to the region. His escape exposed serious failures in the prison's security, leading to a wave of criticism and questions about the procedures in place. Cavalcante's breakout revealed vulnerabilities in the United States penitentiary system, even in a maximum security facility, and prompted important discussions about the mistakes made by those responsible for keeping the prison secure. The case led to changes in surveillance and security measures, focusing on preventing similar escapes in the future. Leonid Grazer, an 18-year-old Russian, staged one of the most chaotic and bizarre escape attempts ever recorded inside a courtroom in Russia. He was on trial in Moscow for the brutal murder of his own sister, Aradia, who was 21. The crime shocked the country not only because of its brutality, but also because of Grazer's disturbing claims. During his testimony, he said he had taken his sister's life because the Horned One ordered him to, a justification that left everyone baffled. The trial took place at the Shubinsky court, and since it was a case involving a violent crime, Grazer was kept inside a bulletproof glass enclosure. This type of structure is often used in Russia to prevent dangerous defendants from having direct contact with judges, lawyers, and witnesses. The glass enclosure also stops escape attempts, something that proved crucial in Grazer's case. Right at the start of the hearing, the young man was showing signs of agitation. He moved around nervously inside the enclosure and, at a certain point, tried to get out through the front gap in the structure. He tried to squeeze through a small opening between the glass doors, but the officers quickly ordered him to step back. What nobody expected was that, a few minutes later, Grazer would try again, this time through an unlikely spot. In a surprising move, he managed to reach a tight opening at the top of the glass enclosure and began forcing himself out. The courtroom recording does not show exactly how he contorted himself, but within seconds he was already outside, in the middle of the hearing room. The security guards noticed the escape right when Grazer was already past the barrier. One of the officers hesitated to open the enclosure to stop him, but the defendant had already escaped and had opened the top in order to flee. Amid the chaos of the officers trying to grab him, his pants ended up falling down, but that did not keep him from continuing his attempt to run. One of the female officers pressed a button on the wall to call for backup, and within moments, more agents rushed in to contain the situation. Faced with the defendant's resistance, the officers decided to use a taser to subdue him. One electric shock later, Grazer finally gave in and was taken back into custody. Even after being locked up again, he stayed there with a blank expression. Leonid Grazer's case created a big stir in Russia and beyond, especially due to the violence of the crime and the desperate attempt to escape right in front of everyone in the courtroom. Moreover, the peculiar scene of the escape, which included tries through different gaps, and even the loss of his pants, got wide coverage on social media and TV shows. 60 Days Infiltrated in Prison is a reality show in which volunteer participants go undercover in the prison system, aiming to find out how the dynamics and conditions work inside American penitentiaries. For 60 days, they live like prisoners, dealing with everyday hardships in lockup, trying to earn the inmates' trust, and at the same time gathering information about criminal activities and abuses in the jail. The participants are not security professionals, and their mission is carried out secretly, without the other inmates knowing who they really are. One of the show's most unusual moments happened during a back and forth between two inmates, Stokes and Diashan, over a debt of 5 cookies. The dispute starts off looking fairly simple, but quickly escalates into a major clash inside the prison, leading to a tense situation that reveals the complex dynamics of power and respect in the jail environment. Diashan, who feels wronged by Stokes, gets help from Carlos to defend his rights, but things soon spiral out of control, and another inmate, Dallas, joins the fray, adding more pressure on Stokes. Tensions rise, and in a burst of frustration and anger, Diashan punches Stokes in the face. You can see the shock in Diashan's reaction, and the situation intensifies with those involved bracing for a possible fight. It all comes to a head when Diashan, already regretting his outburst, is held back by other inmates who, out of respect and loyalty to him, shield him from a potential counterattack. That also helps boost his reputation in the prison, earning the respect of some, while others see his move as an example of self-defense. In the end, Stokes, despite being struck, decides not to fight back. He realizes that if he fought Diashan, other inmates who had Diashan's back might jump in. Diashan, in turn, seems to feel validated, since he managed to stand his ground in a system where violence and loyalty often define how much respect you get. This scuffle over a simple cookie debt shows just how tense relationships can be inside a prison, where the smallest lack of respect or breach of agreement can have serious and unpredictable outcomes. In November of 2015, an unusual incident grabbed attention at the women's prison in Bayamon, in Puerto Rico, when a group of inmates used an illegal cell phone to take and post provocative pictures of themselves on social media. Some of the images showed the women striking suggestive poses, partially or even fully nude, and later appeared in a national newspaper. This caused an uproar and made the prison authorities react swiftly. Those in charge of prison security carried out an intense search of the cells, using search dogs to locate the phone used for the pictures. During the sweep, besides mobile devices, homemade weapons and knives were also found in some of the inmates' cells, making the situation even more serious. The photos not only broke prison rules, but also exposed flaws in the facility's security. The incident led to severe punishment for those involved. 2 of the inmates, who already had more than 20 disciplinary violations on record, had their sentences extended. The case also raised questions about how well mobile devices are controlled in prisons, and about the security measures authorities were taking, since all of them had a phone in hand, and even internet access. The idea is to show the pictures during the video, similar to the channel we're inspired by. At the courthouse in Highland County, in Ohio, what was supposed to be a tense, serious sentencing moment turned into a surprisingly easy escape for Nicholas Garrison. The man, who was about to be convicted for meth possession, did not think twice. When he was taken in to be sentenced, he just got up and bolted through the courthouse hallways, dodging the guards who tried to stop him. The scene, captured by security cameras, shows Garrison racing down the stairs while one of the guards, Deputy Ben Reno, desperately tries to catch him, even jumping over the stairway railing. The getaway was practically effortless. While the guards were still trying to get themselves together, Garrison was already getting away. Things got even more surreal when one of the officers actually leaped after him. And the funniest thing is, Garrison didn't even seem worried about speed or the guards chasing him, like he knew exactly what he was doing, making the most of every second. After he fled, he likely changed his appearance, shaved his head, got new clothes, and left everyone searching high and low for clues. The ease of his escape raised questions about courthouse security, and the fact that he didn't even need a fancy plan to get away makes it sound like something straight out of an action movie. Now, authorities are on his trail, but so far, Garrison has shown that sometimes a good sprint and a bit of daring can be all you need to slip through the hands of justice. In January of 2024, Diobra Redden carried out a shocking attack in a Las Vegas courtroom. While waiting for his sentence in an assault case, he leapt over the bench and the table of Judge Mary Kay Holthus, who was about to announce his penalty. The video of the incident shows the exact moment when Redden, who was 31 at the time, jumped over the table of roughly 1.2 meters in height, knocking the judge backwards so she hit the wall. In a violent move, he grabbed her by the hair, causing even more chaos around him. The attack left the judge injured, though not so badly that she had to be hospitalized. In court, Redden said his untreated schizophrenia was a key factor in his impulsive, aggressive behavior. His defense attorney argued that he was not on his prescribed medication at the time. Redden pleaded guilty to attempted murder, yet still claimed he had no intention of killing the judge, saying he was not a bad person. As a result of his actions, Redden received a sentence ranging from 26 to 65 years in prison, with a possibility of parole only after 2050. His attack, which made headlines, not only caused injury to the judge but also landed him a very long stay behind bars, showing the serious consequences of a moment of lost control. Imagine working at one of London's most well-known prisons and ending up in such a deep romantic entanglement with an inmate that you put your career and freedom at risk. That is exactly what happened to Linda de Souza Abreu, a former corrections officer from Brazil who shocked the United Kingdom after being caught getting intimate with a prisoner inside the HMP Wandsworth. The story blew up when a video of the two was leaked on social media, creating huge waves. Linda de Souza Abreu, 31 years old, worked as a corrections officer at HMP Wandsworth, a medium-security prison in London. A Brazilian, she lived in the United Kingdom and seemed to lead a normal life until her name landed in the headlines of British and Brazilian papers for a very unconventional reason. It all started to unfold when Linda was caught having intimate relations with inmate Linton Weirish. But what might have been just a forbidden fling between guard and inmate revealed something deeper. According to Linda herself, she was in love with Weirish and saw him as her protector. She even said she had never felt so safe and that with him, she felt like a gangster. Their secret relationship might have stayed behind the prison walls if it hadn't been for another inmate who recorded a video of the couple in an intimate moment. That video got leaked on social media in the United Kingdom in June of 2024. Sparking an immediate scandal. The backlash was huge, and it did not take long for Linda to come under investigation. The case went to court, and a psychiatric report was prepared by Dr. Ian Koeman, who evaluated Linda's behavior. The diagnosis? She suffered from severe borderline personality disorder and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. That, the experts said, made her highly impulsive, prone to decisions taken without weighing the consequences. The court did not go easy on her. On Monday, the 6th of January of 2025, Linda de Souza Abreu was sentenced to 15 months in prison. In the judgment, the judge was clear that her actions had negatively impacted the prison system, stressing that other female officers at HMP Wandsworth were often harassed by inmates and that Linda's behavior only made things worse. Besides the sentence, Linda lost every bit of credibility as a professional, and her career in the prison system was over for good. Her story became a talking point in British and Brazilian media, raising debates about the vulnerability of corrections staff and the psychological challenges for those who work in the the field. As for inmate Linton Warwick, the man Linda fell for, his sentence was reviewed, but his situation behind bars did not change much. In June of 2022, security at the Hamilton County Jail in Cincinnati was put in check after 2 inmates managed to escape while being processed into the facility. The incident caused major concern because it highlighted flaws in the intake and release procedures for inmates. Melissa Cordell was the first to flee. While waiting to be booked, she realized that a security door was unlocked. Seizing the moment, she hid, took off her jail uniform, and blended in with other inmates who were leaving, slipping away undetected. Less than 2 weeks later, George Bridewell did the same thing. During a distracted moment, when the door to his cell was opened for other inmates to leave, he simply joined the group and walked out. Both fugitives were eventually recaptured, but the episode raised serious doubts about how secure the jail was, given the high number of detainees and daily movements. Sheriff Charmaine McGuffey acknowledged the issues and said the facility was taking steps to tighten security, such as installing barriers and new electronic locks. Moreover, jail management started to keep a closer eye on the use of tablets provided to inmates, which were apparently being used to damage the facility, showing that introducing new technology can also bring unexpected problems. The sheriff promised that the situation would be fixed and assured that more changes were on the way to prevent similar incidents in the future, emphasizing that the prison system is always adapting to the creative ways inmates find to break the rules. Do not forget to subscribe for more videos like this.